Volleyball is a dynamic sport requiring physical and physiological demands. There are many components associated with volleyball, which include spike, serving, block, digging, passing, and setting. In order to execute spike, it requires perform high vertical jump and also strong arm swing. According to the findings, there's about 39 seconds per minute of the time the athletes are concurred in the intense action of maximum heart rate above 85%. Players need power in their necks to get high in the air and strength in the upper body to spike, block, and dig balls. Agility is lead because of the quick and sometimes awkward movements the sport requires, where players have to adjust their bodies to the ball while playing. As a volleyball player, you must have the ability to change direction, sometimes even in the mid-air, in a split second to adjust to the ball. Apart from physical and physiological demands, there is common injuries in volleyball.
First of all, patellar tendinopathy, because of the explosive and repetitive jumping, is mostly involved in volleyball, which lead in pain in patellar tendon. An estimated 40% to 50% of high-level volleyball players develop patellar tendinopathies.
Anterior cruciate ligament (ACL) tears are not as common as patellar tendonitis, but it is a much more serious injury. One study showed that less than 50% of athletes returned to playing sports at their pre-injury level or returned to participate in competitive sport. In volleyball, the mechanism usually is coming down awkwardly from a jump or a cutting maneuver. Therefore, it mostly happens after a spike or after blocking. After that is shoulder injuries. Is shoulder impingement or shoulder instability. It mostly occurs because of the movement overhead, especially in a poor posture, block shot, setting, or spike. When you lift your arm overhead, the space between these bones in your shoulder decreases and increase pressure on the tendons. This can cause irritation, which can lead to an impingement. Ankle sprains are the most common ankle injury in volleyball, which one study showing that account for 41% of all volleyball-related injuries. This usually occur when landing onto another player's foot, often a player from the opposite team, so these are more common in positions that play around the leg. To know more about mechanism of volleyball can help you to reduce the injury rate and increase your sport performance in your volleyball games. Trapeziums and posterior deltoid will do the retraction and the backswing of your arm in order to generate a potential energy when you do spike or any overhead movement. Your rotator cuff, pectoralis, anterior deltoid will do the acceleration and the fall full phase in spike in order to generate a high speed and strength to spike at the ball to attack. At the same time, agility, speed, everything is rely on the stabilize from your trunk. We rely on abdominis, erector spine, and external oblique to do trunk rotation, extension, and flexion. After that, your lower body, which is the most important part in volleyball, gluteus, hamstring, quadriceps, and your calf muscle. It holds your joint of your lower body. It helps you squat or sitting down like your leg is parallel to the floor, like 90 degrees, and push the floor. And changing from a running to a speed to jump high or to chase an unpredictable ball from your opponents.
Two studies show the strength of the upper body can be trained by bench press. With additional bench press, strength and conditioning training for volleyball players. There are significant improvements in the players' 1 hour and bench press tests and volleyball performance. To allow volleyball players to have a stronger upper body to support and have a better performance, as they have lots of shoulder and hand movements, such as overhead passing, serving, blocking, spiking, and more. The target muscles of bench press are patellaris major, anterior deltoid, and triceps. First, lie down on the bench. Hold the bar with close grip and slightly wider than the shoulder width. Put the bar over your chest with elbow fully extended. Lower your bar to touch or almost touch the chest at nipple level. Push the bar back to starting position with elbow almost fully extended. Remember, do not bounce your bar on the chest. Raise your head off the bench or the bar wasn't at nipple level. Do not overarch your back and hyperextend your waist. You can perform the bench press on an incline bench or use a dumbbell instead of the bar to have an easier control for the bench press. Athlete can adjust the loading and reps to match with their volleyball training.
Drop jump to box jump is the effective power exercise to work on reducing ground contact time, but also can improve explosiveness, power ability, and range of vertical jump. Vertical jump is a crucial movement when performing a spike, blocking, or jump serve in volleyball. It requires strong and powerful lower limb muscle for performing those large amount of explosive jumping and landing. As a drop jump to box jump exercise is an improvement in the lower body power to advantageous for the volleyball player to reach higher and jump higher, as I hit the ball over the net and block the ball from the opponent. Moreover, drop jump to box jump can develop the power in quadriceps, hamstrings, glutes, and cuff. When performing the landing phase, it requires the muscle to eccentrically contract, besides followed the concentric contraction during the jumping phase. It requires volleyball players use minimal ground contact time to lift the body off the ground and jump onto the box. The movement also requires hip, ankle, and knee extension, which engages the gastrocnemius, soleus, glutes, hamstring, and quadriceps. However, beyond the lower body, box jump also requires strong engagement of the core and swinging motion of the arm to complete the exercise. Standing up on top of the shortened box. Lift one foot off the box, preparation for jump. Lift the other foot off the box and swing your hand backward. Short ground contact. Try to get off the ground as quick as you can. Extend the knee and hip rapidly, swing your arm forward, jump onto the next box. Land with soft knees in squat position, flatten the knee and hip. Land in correct position. Don't land onto the box with falcon knee. When you land onto the ground and jump onto the box, keep your back straight and slightly lean forward. Land with a shallower degree with knee flexion.
Blocking is the first line of defense in volleyball. It is also an important technique to increase the chance of counter-attack after defense. Excellent blocking ability can increase the ball weight after defense. In sport with short time and fast ball speed, the time from stimulus to response is extremely short, so that the athlete's reaction time will be the key to success or fail. Appropriate agility training can shorten an athlete's performance in terms of reaction time. As a volleyball player, you must have ability to change direction, sometimes even in mid-air in a split second to adjust to the ball. For the beginner, we can choose some deceleration drills and lateral shuffling. The mirror change direction drills is a great agility drill for volleyball because it works on change of direction quickness. When an opponent spikes the ball in front, a quick block technique can turn the tide. As the reactor in this volleyball workout, you don't have time to think. You just need to able to stop and go on the dime. This will help you to change your muscle and mind to react quickly in a game situation. For equipment, we need 2 cones and a partner. Place 2 cones 10 to 15 yards apart. Player B stand directly opposite. Player A move randomly in between the cones as the other mimics their movement. Continue for a certain amount of time. Don't forget to keep the distance with your partner and keep your head up. The hip and shoulder stay straight. Also, keep your legs bent when changing direction. Continue for 10 seconds. Also, we can adjust the time if we decrease the set time to focus more on speed. So if we increase the time, it will for more emphasis on conditioning.